Greetings of peace. My name is Rob Hotep. I'm broadcasting on behalf of 13signsastrology.com, where we bring it to you raw, uncut, live, and radical. In this particular episode and segment, I'm going to talk about Whole Foods. Whole Foods has hit the media, the underground media, pretty hard because Whole Foods has, I guess, according to different underground media outlets, Whole Foods has been discovered to be found in bed with Monsanto. Furthermore, Whole Foods is being accused of selling genetically modified products. And you would think with a company called Whole Foods, that they wouldn't sell genetically modified products. Interesting topic for me to cover, because Whole Foods, I have an attachment to Whole Foods, and past me being a vegan, past all of that, I have an attachment to Whole Foods because it was started and founded in the year 1980, and that was the year of my birth. I'm an 80s baby. I was born in 1980, and old to some, young to others. I guess young enough to appeal to the youth, but old enough to understand. And in 1980 is a very significant year because this is when Saturn made a full transition into Virgo. Saturn is called Father Time. So Saturn governs overall time here in this matrix. It's called Father Time. And Saturn transitioned into Virgo. Virgo is the constellation of food. It's called the House of Bread. Virgo is called the House of Bread, ruled by Sirius and also ruled by Mercury. But Virgo deals with commerce. And it's no accident that Whole Foods was incorporated on September the 20th. It's no accident that it was founded during that time. And it's no accident that Whole Foods is now being persecuted again in the time of Virgo. It's no accident. Now let me go into, and that was exactly 32 years ago. 32 years ago to the day, because I'm 32 years old myself. So that was 32 years ago when Whole Foods was first founded. And let me go into the history of Whole Foods, because we have a lot of underground information coming out about Whole Foods, and I'm not against any of it. I mean, Whole Foods is just true. They call themselves Whole Foods, and they should be selling foods that are whole. I mean, that is totally false. If you're selling foods with genetically modified ingredients in it, you're not selling what's called a whole food. So you're not selling that. But let me go a little bit into the history of Whole Foods, because some people probably know the history of it, but I did a little bit of research myself on the history of Whole Foods, and it's kind of interesting because when you research Whole Foods, you'll find out that Whole Foods didn't start off selling genetically modified foods, of course, because there were no such thing as genetically modified foods back then. But Whole Foods started off as a 100%, natural, organic, healthy, health food type of health store. Whole Foods started off genuine, like most of us do. But what Whole Foods didn't know, and what a lot of people don't know, but what Whole Foods realize now, I'm sure, and they probably have already sold out a long time ago. I know Whole Foods sold out a long time ago if they're selling genetically modified ingredients. But you see, what they didn't realize was that the reptilians were watching. And when Whole Foods first got started, they were doing something noble. They were doing something great. And they didn't realize that the reptilians played both sides. Those draconians, they played both sides. So yeah, they're over in the pharmaceutical world. They're killing people in the pharmaceutical world. And then when you decide you want to wake up, and you decide that you want to look to the earth for your medicine, you have the reptilians there to sell you your medicine, or your herbs, I should say, which is your food that can be used as a medicine. You had the reptilians there on both sides. So what happened with Whole Foods was that John Mackey, he started off as an astrologer. He was deep into astrology. He said that he used astrology to start Whole Foods. That's how I know he started in Virgo. He started in Virgo in Western, and I believe in and I know in 13 signs is Virgo. He started in Virgo also in Western as well. So he knew what he was doing. He started in prime time of Virgo because he knew Virgo dealt with food. So the man was into his metaphysics. intelligent, but I believe that whoever he partnered up with, I forgot the guy's name, that he partnered up with this guy, I think he started it in like 1980, and it was him and his wife, I believe, and they started it out of their house, and then they eventually opened up a store. But they later on partnered with this other guy. See, and that's when they partnered with this other guy, I think that's when they got compromised, you know what I'm saying? Because this other guy, probably, the reptilian type, and I'm not saying he was, but I'm saying you have those draconians out there that they're looking for people that are spiritual and genuine and trying to do things to help the people, because they're going to sneak up and offer you some money to get you to compromise what you're doing. And that's what happened with Whole Foods. Now check out what happened with Whole Foods. It's real strategic. So Whole Foods obviously started off being about the people, the whole foods, and providing people with the best foods, clean foods, organic foods. Now you got to keep in mind, they didn't really start genetically modifying foods until after 1980, like in the mid 80s. That's when they started to genetically modify foods. But so Whole Foods started off genuine. They started off genuine, but that snake slowly crept in. That serpent, that reptilian, slowly crept in and said, "Look, this is basically what happened. You can keep doing this Whole Foods thing and become basically the ultimate, I guess you could say, the authority. You could become the authority in Whole Foods, because Whole Foods, I mean, back then it wasn't really no big chain of Whole Foods, like a big chain, like a franchise of a whole bunch of different grocery stores that sold organic food. So that reptilian crept in and was, look, you could be the authority. You could be the authority. You could be basically the head of this whole food movement, because they knew it was coming in. They knew people was going to start waking up. So they was like, the only thing you got to do is start buying up these other smaller stores, these other smaller health food stores. And that's what Whole Foods did. And that's when they got compromised, because in order for them to do that, they had to start selling, they start to mix in. See, what Whole Foods did, they start to mix in the meats in with the vegetables, and they start to mix in the organic products with the non-organic products, and they start to mix stuff in. They've been doing that. And people just getting hip to it, though. They've been doing that probably before you even heard of Whole Foods. They start to mix stuff in, and they start to compromise their title, which is Whole Foods. Whole Foods means a whole organic food, a raw, living food, like a live food. It's not genetically modified. It's not artificial in any kind of way, no additives. And Whole Foods is said to advertise 100% real food. Now, let me explain to you what's going on with that. See, you guys don't know legal language. You don't know legal language. You can say a food is real and it can be genetically modified. A genetically modified food is legally real. Get you a Black's Law dictionary and look up real. That's what you need to do to figure out exactly what real means. Because you need to look that up or whatever, because that's what they're charging Whole Foods on, is saying, well, you guys advertise, you call it Whole Foods, and you say that all of your food is 100% real because it's on their Whole Foods truck. And that's a deception to the people. But again, Whole Foods got compromised by the reptilians and the Luciferians a long time ago. So that's when they start to play the game, when they use legalese. See, that's all reptilian language, where they use the legalese, and most people don't know it. They use the legalese to basically deceive you, so that you can put words like real on genetically modified foods, and you can call yourself KFC instead of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and sell people clone chicken instead of real chicken, and without letting them know. See, Whole Foods didn't do anything different from what KFC did. They didn't do anything different, and people just now figuring it out. And I'm glad that it's being exposed. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, why expose them? I mean, why come down on Whole Foods like that when they're still offering you vegans and you guys food that you need? Like, you go to Whole Foods, don't you, Ram Hotep? I'm slowly but surely letting go of Whole Foods. I have a lot of other alternatives personally. I've been going to Whole Foods. I still do recommend Whole Foods to people that are in small towns that don't have anyone else to go to for certain things. But ultimately, no, I'm getting ready to, as you can see at the end of this video, I'm going to probably go more into it or whatever, but I'm getting ready to really start providing more alternatives and healthy products via my website, because Whole Foods, I mean, they've been compromised, and slowly but surely they are going to just slowly but surely start to just add in more and more junk. I mean, the more you go to Whole Foods, the less foods there that you can trust. So they are going to slowly get shut down. So I'm going to be offering more products on my website that are real live Whole Foods, because Whole Foods is a prime example of what the Luciferians and the Reptilians will do when you say you want to help out people and you want to be on this this spiritual guru and this person that helps people or whatever, or this so-called spiritual master or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You said you want to do this or whatever, but then Whole Foods is a prime example of what they'll do to you, because they're going to send people in to try to get you to compromise what you're doing and get you to mix in the meats with it so that you can. So let me explain to you why they mixed in the meats, because I know I kind of got off point. So they mixed in the meats and other foods because they can get more traffic, which is what? More money. It was more money. So what Whole Foods did is they sold out, basically, essentially for money. They sold out their mission statement, which was something probably dealing with Whole Foods, for money. And they started to sell meat and stuff like that so that they call themselves being noble, because they're like, well, we're still going to sell the organic products too. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to be able to provide Whole Foods to everybody across the nation, you know what I'm saying? But they really want to be the giant when it came to Whole Foods, and they compromised their mission instead of looking at their mission. So they went for the money, and they became just like all the other corporations. They became just like all the other corporations. They went and started buying up all the Whole Foods, all the different natural food grocery stores across the country. I mean, I'm talking in Atlanta, in New York. Whole Foods started in Texas. They were buying up stores in California, in Atlanta, in New York. Whole Foods was just dishing out money, buying up stores, because that became their mission statement, beloveds. That's what you fail to realize. Whole Foods, I mean, I went to school for marketing, so you guys think I just jumped on YouTube out of nowhere or whatever, but I know marketing. When I was in the Matrix and when I believed in the Matrix, I thought I was in marketing. I didn't know that the Luciferians controlled it. I found that out later, but I went to school for marketing. So I know exactly, you know what I'm saying, like what happened with Whole Foods or whatever. They started out, it was about the groceries. But once you expand and you start to open up some more stores, you start to franchise stores, it becomes about the name, Whole Foods. And that becomes your product. So it doesn't matter what you put in the store. So everything that you're putting in the stores, you need to do that to fuel the name. So they were more, basically the product became opening up new stores. See, that's what Whole Foods does. Whole Foods doesn't sell groceries. They open up new stores. That's what they do. They buy up stores. Mergers and acquisitions. They're a big time, gigantic corporation just like anybody else. And I know a lot of people out there are mad, like, how you going to knock Whole Foods and everybody goes there and we ain't going to have nowhere else to go if they get shut down. So then what we going to do? Well, people are going to have to get back to nature and use their minds and use their brains. Now, you have something called Proposition 37. And this is interesting right here. Now, Proposition 37, I agree with it. It's basically a proposition coming out of California that would force certain, manufacturers that come out of California or whatnot to label products that have genetically modified ingredients in them. Just like you have to put a label when you don't have genetically modified ingredients in your products. They have labels for that. Well, they want to create a label for products that have genetically modified ingredients in them to let the people know. And it's a good idea. I'm not against it. It's a great idea. Great idea. But the thing is that the Luciferians and Reptilians are like, now that's going too far. That's going too far. See, they don't want the people to think and become conscious and start thinking about and start making choices. So you got big time companies that many of you probably buying these people's brands that are putting money out against Proposition 37, like Kellogg's. Big time companies. Let me go into some of the companies here that are putting money into this Proposition 37 thing, that are putting money against it, I should say. Big time companies like Kellogg's. Give me a second here. I had this stuff pulled up. But I'm talking like Kellogg's, I believe Kroger's. Big time companies are putting money into this thing, and I don't even have the page pulled up anymore. Excuse me, guys. I don't have the page pulled up anymore, but I know for sure Kellogg's and Kroger's is definitely two of the big time corporations that are putting money out to pretty much stop this Proposition 37 thing, because they don't want consumers to be conscious of particular foods that have genetically modified ingredients in them. And it's a reason for that. It's a big time reason for that I'm going to get into. Now, genetically modified ingredients, let me break down what that is. Genetically modified ingredients are foods are anything that has corn in it, anything that has soy in it, are usually genetically modified. All your corn and all your soy, you got to get a documentary called Food Inc. Really good documentary that talks about Monsanto. There's some other ones too, but just research Monsanto and you'll find out that all the corn, they're using corn syrup and putting corn in everything because it's cheaper. And they put corn in ketchup, they're putting corn in everything. And the thing is that this corn is genetically modified. It's not real corn. So the corn syrup is made from this corn that's genetically modified, and they're putting this in all the foods. Same thing with soy. It's a corn and soy conspiracy going on with Monsanto or whatever. So it's even deeper than that. Now they're also putting a lot of vegetarians. You need to be up on game. You guys that are buying vegetables that aren't organic. I know a lot of people hate when I talk about this because they're like, I mean, so what? At least you're eating vegetables that aren't organic. Yeah, I can say that to a certain extent, but let me go ahead and hit you on to something. You could buy some bananas, right? And they could have fish in them because they're splicing fish genes in with banana genes, and they create a new seed. You see, and this new seed, they can plant this seed, and it creates a banana that basically has fish genes mixed in with it. And why do they do this, you might ask? Because of shelf life. Gives it longer shelf life. So they might put rat genes inside of apples. All kind of stuff they're mixing in with these seeds, all for shelf life. But that's what they're telling you they're doing for shelf life, but it's another reason why they're doing it. See, it's a reptilian. Remember I said this is a reptilian agenda. So this is essentially what they're doing. The reptilians, they play both sides. So you see, they'll sell you the herbs, certain herbs. They won't tell you about certain herbs. You see, there's an herb conspiracy going on with the reptilians. And even with Whole Foods. Whole Foods will sell you certain stuff. Certain herbs they got in Whole Foods, but you notice certain herbs they don't. Certain herbs they don't. Like, for instance, the moringa. I sell the moringa. I have a moringa formula on my website called Green Stuff. And it's basically like a 30-day supply pretty much of a really good formula, a blend of green stuff. Vegetables, all organic. By the way, totally organic, 100% organic. It has moringa in it, which is a herb from Africa. And you can't really find moringa in like Whole Foods because they suppress. See, the reptilians, they only promote certain herbs for a reason, because they have control over certain herbs. So they'll promote the herbs that they have control over, those particular farmers and stuff that are growing them. So since they don't really control the moringa like that yet, they're trying to, but they don't control the moringa like that yet. So they're not going to really promote that in Whole Foods, but then you'll see like the spirulina, and you'll see the spirulina products, and spirulinas and everything. You'll see that in all the different products because it's a reptilian agenda. So you guys don't see it. They take control of the herbs, and they give you certain stuff, and then they leave out certain stuff. So that's why Whole Foods got caught up into that agenda when they decided to be a big-time corporation. That's basically what happened to them. When they decided to go big, they sold their soul. Their soul was basically the essence of their business, which was Whole Foods. You can barely find a Whole Food in Whole Foods anymore. It's sad. You go to Whole Foods, they got restaurants in there. They're selling pizza with cheese all over it, cow pus all over it, which is cheese, and just all kind of stuff or whatever. I mean, I know people eat this stuff, but I'm just saying, the concept of somebody that really is trying to live that life, like somebody like me and other people out there that are really trying to be vegan, you know, for the most part, and trying to be vegetarian and even trying to be a raw foodist and an alkaline head, and you got to go through all of this sifting or whatever, but you got to be a scientist. That's why I always say that. Read the label. You got to read the label. And people should have known that going to Whole Foods was not the end-all, be-all. Just because you buy it from Whole Foods, it's cool. I mean, you should have known that, people. Just because you go to Whole Foods does not mean it's cool. You got to know your food. Know what's in your food. That's why I make these videos. Become a food scientist. Read the label. Know what ingredients are. Know what vitamin C is. What is vitamin C? That's why I did the video on vitamins. So I'm just saying, like, putting all this information out here because this Whole Foods thing would not be such a shock to people if people would realize this agenda that's going on, that these Luciferians are going to play both sides, and that Whole Foods been, of course, if you're going in a place and you can buy meat and all kind of stuff on one end and then turn around and buy some health food stuff on another end, you already know these people kind of are mixing up two things. And to be successful with nature and at one with nature, you got to just be all, it got to be all healthy. It got to be all good for you. You can't mix up, well, this is good for you, but this is not. You can't do that. And that's what Whole Foods did. They were compromised for the money, just like most businesses do. They do it for the money. It's all for the money and for the name and for the power and for the control. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. But us, you know, new spiritual entrepreneurs out there. See, Whole Foods, I mean, now I will say, not to put so much pressure on John Mackey, I'm going to bring balance to this and say this. Whole Foods, they were pioneers in this whole radical spiritual movement to enlighten people. Whole Foods were pioneers in that, and we must say that. They were pioneers in that. I mean, before them, a lot of people, I mean, they really put money into this whole natural food thing. So I see what they were doing on one end. They're like, you got to put money into this thing, but then at the same time, it's wicked because they control the brand when they put money into it too. So you got to go to Whole Foods to get everything. Like, so basically when they put money into something, they block out the other man so they can control the prices. See, people don't know marketing. They control the market by putting the most money into the health food market. That's why they wanted to become the giants, so they can control the prices of all the products. The healthy products too, the organic stuff. That's why they said organic stuff and the meats. You see, it was a strategy that they knew what they were doing from the beginning. And people were just figuring this stuff out. They're just figuring this stuff out. People got to wake up. Got to wake up, people. Whole Foods agenda, as far as them selling genetically modified ingredients and foods has been, and everybody else is doing it. Just like the lady from Whole Foods said, everybody else is doing it because somebody interviewed her. And she said, well, everybody else is doing it. I mean, you go to Kroger's and they sell foods that are genetically modified, and then they sell foods that are organic. That's true. But Whole Foods, though, you guys, look at your name. Your name in and of itself. So that's why they kind of set themselves up with karma, and they started in Virgo, so they should have known that. Virgo's got to stick to that karma, man. You got to stay on the higher path with Virgo. You can't go out, sell out for the money. You can't sell out for the money. Even if you got to keep your lifestyle on a certain level, just so you can keep helping the people and be genuine with it. So, I mean, all these new entrepreneurs out here that, you know, spiritual entrepreneurs that, you know, are trying to be spiritual, but you want to still be entrepreneurs and provide products for the people. Let Whole Foods be your example. Let Whole Foods be your your model on what not to do. Don't compromise. Don't mix up. I like to say, mix up truth with falsehood. You can't mix up truth with falsehood. Now, you can't mix up something that's pure with something that's impure and still call it pure. And that's what they did. They still called it holy. Just like the Bible is a mixture of truth and falsehood, but then they still call it holy. They're no better than the people that created religion. You see, and they probably were people that weren't religious, but that shows you the reptilians don't care. They came to Whole Foods, they compromised, they got them to sell their souls, the essence of their company, and they basically sold out. Whole Foods essentially sold out. They sold their message out. They basically sold out the light workers, and what's happening is the light workers are becoming angry. The light workers are becoming angry. So we don't know what's going to happen with Whole Foods. I mean, Whole Foods doesn't even want to back Proposition 37. They don't even want to back Proposition 37. And let me get back to that. So Proposition 37, what's going on with that is this. It's pretty much essentially going to label all your products. And you got these big giants that are against it, and then you got some people that are pretty big in the health food world that are for it. Like the Bonner's Brothers soap, or Dr. Bonner's soap. I like to use some of his soap sometimes, the peppermint soap, or whatever. I use that sometimes, but his company, the guy, he's deceased that started it, but his company is backing the Proposition 37 along with some other companies or whatever, some natural companies out there. But Whole Foods, a big time company that's supposed to be for the people, again, they don't want to back it. Their name is not on there. They're not backing Proposition 37, so it's just going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But I mean, if you knew the game, people, I don't really get caught up on the whole don't buy anything from Whole Foods, boycott them. I don't get caught up on none of that, because this is what I want to say, and I'm going to shut this video down. The ultimate solution is for you guys and for me and for us to get back to nature. To get back to nature, and what I mean by that is that you should be dependent on the store to provide for you anything. You should learn how to grow your own, produce your own food. And if you can't grow certain foods in certain areas, you either need to go to an area where you can grow that food, or find out what you can grow within that area and start eating foods that are indigenous to the area that you're from that are still good for you. But you don't know what people are putting in foods unless you watch it come out that ground at the end of the day. And I got to say that. You don't know what people are putting in your foods unless you're watching it come out the ground, or unless you know what I'm saying? It's basically you feel, I guess, a connection with somebody, like it's a family member or somebody that you know for sure has your best interest at heart, because you know for sure they're living a certain lifestyle or whatever, and they have your best interest at heart. But at the end of the day, we really got to, I mean, the women out there got to get back into the kitchen and become scientists. Women were scientists, and a lot of women, they don't want to cook because they're like, I'm going to get me a job, and I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go do that. And you selling your soul when you do that. You're selling your soul because you make your family dependent. Your family is your soul, right? So the females make their families dependent upon the matrix to feed their family when they do that. And you're supposed to be a scientist. You're supposed to be in the kitchen knowing what's what. You're supposed to become a scientist and know how to create soap, know how to create food, know how to create medicine to heal your family. You should know how to create everything, clothes, everything. Women used to be scientists like that. That was the goddess. When a woman called herself a goddess, it was based on being able to be in that kitchen and be able to do that. And men aren't exempt, brothers, because men knew how to do the same stuff. So I want to point that out. This is no sexism here. Men back in the days knew how to do the same things that women knew how to do, because a man should know how to provide for himself and be able to be in that kitchen. So I'm saying basically men and women have sold themselves out to depending on Big Brother, depending on government, and depending on not even government, because these are corporations here, depending on corporations to provide food for you. And then you think these people are going to have your best interest at heart? Nah. These people, I mean, at the end of the day, they're like, you're going to depend on us? Well, we're going to sell you out. So, and people, like anytime somebody incorporates They're getting into the land of big business and commerce. They're pretty much, they don't have your best interest at heart. They don't have your best interest at heart. And I know you're like, well, how you going to do business without incorporating? That's a whole nother story that I'm not going to even drop that type of knowledge and information here on YouTube. I would never even go into that type of stuff here. But anytime you're dealing with a corporation, they don't have your best interest at heart. They don't have your best interest at heart. I don't have a corporation. I'm not affiliated with a corporation because a corporation is called fake. It's fake. That's what it means. A corporation, look it up. It means fake. I studied business and I know. Corporation means artificial, or artificial person. So you're affiliated with a corporation, you're affiliated with an artificial person, a fake person. And Ramhotep is way too real. Way too real to be affiliated with a fake person. So I know you guys are like, that went way over my head, but like I said, that's just something I don't deal with on YouTube. You have to meet me personally for me to go into law and legal information and indigenous information and dealing with your rights versus the codes that these guys have here in this matrix. They have codes versus your rights. You see, you are a child of the universe. You are protected by universal law. You see, you have rights according to the universe. But most people don't deal with that law. They choose to be up under man's law, which is codes. You see, so you guys depend on Whole Foods, back to what I was saying, and these people to change these laws and support these laws and stuff. I have to check you guys. They're not going to do it. They don't have your best interest at heart. So that's why on this channel, I teach people to become a spiritual being. And the ultimate solution is, instead of striking on Whole Foods and all of that, get everything you need to produce your own food on your own. Get everything you need to grow your own food on your own. At least learn how to do it at first. Take sewing classes. Begin to take the steps. You can still go to Whole Foods and go to all these places while you're in the process. You can still work your job while you're in the process, but begin to take steps towards getting back into your higher self, getting back into nature. Because that's what the shift is about. No big corporation is going to be able to help you to make the shift. And people are looking for Big Brother to help them to make the shift. When teach people, empower the people. Teach them how to be self-sufficient, self-sustaining, be able to get back into nature and do for themselves. And then those people that are self-sustaining can network with other people that are self-sustaining and create a co-op. Not a corporation, a co-op, a co-operation. Not a corporation, corporal. See, this is dealing with military talk. You guys don't even know, man. I'm going to shut this video down because I don't want to spook anybody out, man. I thank you for listening. I thank you for watching. And I'm just going to, I want to just, before I stop, I can't stress it enough. Read the label. I don't care if you're Whole Foods or wherever. Read every single ingredient on the label. When you're getting your fruits and vegetables, if it's not organic and says no GMOs, non-GMOs on it, if it doesn't have that label, then don't get it. That's the best I can tell you for right now. Until you start growing them foods on your own and produce, until we can start doing that on our own and we learn how to do these things, all we can do is at least start to learn and read the label so that we can at least start to learn what things are and learn about ingredients. Most people just pop shit in their mouth. They don't even think. So read the label, people. Thank you for watching this video, and until we meet again, I'll leave you all in peace and love.